guys, my name is Mary Kuria from Tanzania, attending Mwalimu Nyerere Pan-African Young Leaders Fellowship here in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. And we're here right now at Johari Rotana Hotel, the Star 5 Hotel. I'm happy and I'm excited to be here. Thanks a lot.
Naitwa Lucky Michael kutokea Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. Ni moja ya wanufaika wa program ya Pan-African Mwalimu Nyerere Young Leadership Fellow. Nipo hapa Johari Rotana kwa ajili ya kupata mafunzo ya uongozi. Mafunzo haya nitakwenda kutumia pia kuweza kuwapa mafunzo vijana wenzangu ili wawe pia ni viongozi bora katika kuhakikisha jamii yetu inakuwa na vijana wanaoleta chachu na mabadiliko katika kuleta maendeleo na kuwa vijana bora. Asante.
Hello, bonjour, je m'appelle Elodie Melo du Burkina Faso et je participe au Mwalimu Nyerere Pan-African Leadership Fellowship et je suis très contente d'être ici parce que j'apprends beaucoup de choses sur le leadership, sur les problèmes qui font que l'Afrique n'avance pas. Donc je pense qu'on devrait travailler ensemble, tous les jeunes de toutes les générations, pour qu'ensemble on puisse redorer l'image de l'Afrique, pour qu'ensemble on puisse amener du développement en Afrique parce qu'on en a besoin. Merci.
Bye bye.
Hello everyone, this is Mbak Patience all the way from Cameroon. I'm here live and direct in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, and it's quite an opportunity for me to learn about Pan-Africanism, learn about leadership, how to empower and enable Africans to develop and to grow and be in solidarity with one another, and it's just an amazing experience. Thank you.
Hello there and welcome back to Cynthia Untamed. This is your youthful and educational platform. I am speaking to you live from the Mwalimu Nyerere Pan-African Youth Leadership Fellowship. I got to show you a bit of the day yesterday. Hopefully you have watched the video. If you haven't, please make sure you do that. Today is the next day. As you can see, there's a change of clothes. I just love this mirror, so I'll keep coming back to it maybe for the intros and the outros. But our session today is being led by the Uongozi Institute for Sustainable Leadership in Africa. I'm especially excited about today because a few years ago I used to watch the African Leadership Dialogues, and that's where I got to discover the Uongozi Leadership Institute. And I especially loved the forums on African leaders, the ones that feature the eminent presidents in Africa. That was definitely my favorite forum. So it's really like full circle moment, and I'm so glad that they've been leading our sessions today. We've been talking about the art of leadership, management. Why is it that Africa is still lagging behind, yet we are so well resourced? We have such a youthful population, and we've got to hear from so many young people, and I really admire their voices. I admire their exposure, how they're thinking about the different challenges that the continent is facing. I'm actually going to feature a couple of them so that you just get to hear their voices. So please keep following the day, and I hope that you will tell a friend. Let's go.
Too much about it, because the fact is we are looking for that transition. Now, what year do you reckon this is? This factory, looking at the black and white.
I always take the staircase. So if you can create some motivation for people to be able to count, of course, when you link it with the health benefits and other things, then you will have it natural that people just like to always use the staircase.
Yeah, I agree with you. And that actually builds on that.
Solution, I will ask them why do they use staircases, and from their reason.
Why do they use escalator?
I mean, why they choose escalator instead of staircases? Because through the explanation, I could get a solution to either let them continue with the uses of escalators, or to make them in my team to work together to make staircase now useful. Thank you.
Segue nicely into the solution space where you start to ideate. Ideate is when you give ideas, and you start off just as I said, give me an idea, not wrong or right, just keep shooting them. Because afterwards you can filter the ideas down and have a prototype solution. Then you're gonna test it, and you can come back and refine it. So this is how it feels. Once you have the concept, a bit more clarity, you start to design. So please, when I give you the problem, don't rush into thinking you're gonna.
Our group wanted to add that we can actually use wooden bicycles, because the location is actually exploring the timber industry, so use wooden bicycles. And then the other issue was on food and nutrition, so encourage the community to embrace agriculture and ensure that the people they supply the products to are actually the schools, so that this location is actually embracing agriculture rather than going into forestry and then getting into climate issues. Yes, we also talked about the post office. They have a post office, so how do we encourage the community to embrace online shopping? So these guys can shop online, but then these goods will be delivered to the post offices within the community. And then lastly is to increase the attractive mode of learning. That includes creating a pool, building a pool in the school, and also using Lego kits just to encourage the children to do this thing.
So you encourage them to walk 15 kilometers? The children love to go to school, the issue is it's very far away.
Yes.
The issue isn't children don't go. Actually, I'll tell you the reality of this. They've got a 95... Thank you very much. Thank you. The children have an attendance rate in a Fwagi of 95%. There is no problem with the children. They don't need enticing. They are walking these 30 kilometers. It's just not right, because there's something, I think it was this group that highlighted the actual safeguarding issues that are coming through. So they don't need enticing. They don't need a pool to get them to go to school. They are happy to go to school and learn. They value education. It's just they are walking 15 kilometers and it's so much risk. Teenage pregnancy is astronomical. Right? This is a real story. And I've been there with Sadiki this last month. And people think I'm light-skinned. I came out looking like my shirt. The dust that they have in there, all the windows were up, and we came up and looked at each other and we thought, oh my God, what have I become? I looked like I was chopped. He looked lighter than me, all right? So the issue is children are walking in, despite all of this. They are walking to school. They believe in education system. That's why we're trying to make reduce that tension, all right? But thank you for presenting. Okay.
Yeah, but here's one last.
So I also want to say something.
Yeah.
So due to the availability of online TV and radio, they have to advertise for their agricultural sector, especially for the timber, in order for the investor to be attractive for their product. So the investor may improve the infrastructure by building the road, and other investors may put their capital on the buses. So the buses will carry on the.
I hope you have enjoyed the day. You've got to see how we have done the sessions, we've done design thinking, we've been thinking about the global economy, and it's so exciting. Okay, great. We have young people here from the continent who are part of the program. Introduce yourself.
My name is Samuel Kwabi from Tanzania. We are here for almost 5 days discussing about the issues about Africa on development processes. Yesterday we had a nice sessions where we surveyed on why Africa is poor, and we tried to underscore the ways African leaders can do to resolve the prevailing problems today. And we anticipate today also to look on how Africa is going to move forward in the next level. Thank you.
Thank you. So my name is Max. I'm from Liberia, West Africa. Yesterday was incredibly amazing. I mean, yesterday was just so much insight, especially about African leadership, especially about the practical things that we need to do to make Africa the continent that we want it to be as young leaders. And I think that we've greatly been challenged, especially looking at how we can employ concepts of critical leadership thinking methodologies and actually using those sort of approaches to begin to highlight things in our work. But most importantly, one of the things I learned yesterday has to do with personal branding. And not just personal branding, but how do you are able to manage yourself as a leader, personal leadership, and that can influence how much impact you can make on others. And for me, I'm expecting so much for today. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Abdul Karim Madam Kanga from Zanzibar, especially Tanzania in general. I'm here for the 60-day program of Mwalimu Nyerere Pan-Africanism Young Leadership Fellowship. So I expect having a lot of skills, interdialogue, and so many. So in fact, yesterday I got so much more to learn about the leadership skills and how we can design the critical thinking on how we can solve the problem which are surrounding our community. So I expect many to gain and to learn from this fellowship. As here we have so many young people with energetic generation, so we expect to have so much more to learn from each other. So thank you. We are African, so we have to unite as a one. African as a one. Thank you.
I mean, if I'm Ugandan producer, I'm from a banana production area, I have my bunch of banana and I'm crossing it to Bukoba, okay? Why won't I do that? Why don't I do that? To take it to either Kumasi in Ghana or even Nigeria. So the view that you're saying that you do not subscribe to the analogy or to the agenda that we cannot have a united Africa and therefore we should focus on creating and strengthening regional growth. I disagree, because you can have these regional blocks and then you use that same mechanism to have a united Africa.
I think it should continue with us. Like our father started in blocks. Now it's time for us to put those differences together, and we put the person, the human, the African in front, and then we remove the obstacles so that we
Let
work
me pose
together.
a question to your point.
Yes.
Do you think the Sudan can be united?
I think yes, I think they can, because they are people. The problem with us Africans is whenever there's a problem with another brother or sister country, we sit relaxed. We do not go in with the spirit of brotherhood and try to reconcile them. Yeah. We wait for an uncle who never wanted us to be one, and we think that they can help us. So we have to start, we have to be the change.
Ethiopia has tried. Yes. Can you respond to Ethiopia?
Yes, I can. Ethiopia has tried to reconcile. Tanzania is peaceful, for instance.
Obasanjo had tried to reconcile Ethiopia.
No, but Mwalimu, let me go to Burundi. Okay. Yeah, the Burundi peace talks. Mwalimu reconciled Burundi. So sometimes you need a brother from another neighborhood to come and understand your problems than your own brothers. So we need to continue with these things, like bring another brother, listen, and then we deal with our things.
I think that we cannot want something and at the same time not want the same thing. The United States of Africa is possible. It doesn't mean that we are going to remove diversity. The fact that some conflicts have been around for a long time doesn't mean that they cannot be fixed. I mean, if we don't believe, or okay, we want one passport, or we want the same currency, we want the free movement of people from one country to the other one. Why? I heard my brother said that we were never one before. Was America one before? Was Europe one before? I think that we have built some barriers in our own mind, and I mean, divided, we are weak forever.
Thank you.
No matter.
I think one of our challenge as young people is we are preachers more than practitioners. The world is looking forward. The Africa we want has to begin with first understanding why our forefathers didn't achieve the things that we are fighting to achieve. And I think it's very important to start from the point of knowledge before going to the place of wanting. I think we have so much energy, but yet we lack understanding. And that's the reason why sometimes I sit in a room, I'm focusing to really understand a lot of things from the concepts. And I would like to ask a question to all of us here in this room. How many of us really understand the Agenda 2063? If you ask a lot of you, or a lot of us here, even myself, you cannot even name the pillars of the Pan-African concept. The question is, how can you really live up to the expectations
of the forefathers if you don't understand the document that should guide you to living the Africa and achieving the Africa we want. Therefore, I would like to say the Africa we want should begin with the people-centered development.
Thank you so much. Proceed.
My name is Sanad Marzouk Abdul Qadir. I am from Libya. I am pleasure to be here today with my colleagues from the different countries with the different mentalities, with the different culture also. But we have only one target, is Africa. That's our target. So the last page we are talking about corruption and governance and a lot of things like that. In our country, in Libya, we have the internal conflicts, but it causes from the external conflicts. When the NATO invasion in Libya, when they destroyed our armies, they destroyed all of our institution in Libya, and when the regime are collapsed, so we are looking to trying to build our country by our efforts. Okay. Now we are looking to also maybe to revive the old project that Libya are working on it before the 2011, that are talking about Africa Unity. Africa Unity started in Libya in the city in 1999. The first step to unite all of African countries, this project established in the Sirte, this is the middle city in Libya, and they unite all of Africans and invite all of the leaders with the different region from the north and
problem is common actually in most African countries. The rebel fighting government.
I want you to tell us South Sudan only.
Yeah, I wanted actually to put the what's happening in South Sudan in context of other states in Africa.
I'm just teasing.
Most of our conflict in Africa are being engineered by external forces.
Now, my question to you, why Africans accept external forces? Tell me.
Okay.
We are interrogating the problem now.
Yeah. The problem with Africa is that most of the leaders who have the vision of transforming Africa to a better continent are being eliminated. They are being eliminated.
It's us, right?
Yeah.
During elections campaigns, we are young people, we have our mothers. If the same politicians came to you and gave you $1 and you voted for him, what do you expect for the next 5 years? What is he going to do? You are the one who started. You are the one who initiated.
Clap for her. Your name and which country?
I'm Esther Mali from Kenya.
From Zanzibar, Tanzania. So I've had this experience. I recently graduated in one of the leadership programs called Young Leaders Forum, and I'm very privileged that Noel is here because we share the classroom, the same class. So in our graduation day, one of the invited key speakers was a member of parliament in East African Parliament called Anderson Dambo, who is a young person aged 26, 27. So it's almost like all of us here. So this person had to run for the seat, for the parliamentary seat, against the most experienced politicians who are very old, and then he managed to get the seat. How did he get to do that? You are talking about integrity. I think speaking of integrity, we have to align something so-called values as young people. And coming back to your question, as young people, how can we fight corruption? As young leaders also, we can fight corruption by standing with our values, with our core values. To what extent can we go further reaching our goals? That's the first one. And the second one, what we believe in. So Mr. Anderson was a very normal guy and not coming from wealthy family, and he didn't have money to buy the votes, you know, and he shared his experience like most of the candidates were buying the votes with the same seat that he was running. What he did was speaking the truth, in align to what he believed, in align to what he can do for the seat, which really helped him to get the seat. So he wasn't buying the votes, instead he was buying people's trust. And
corruption starts from our families. As behavior influencing and raising up our kids in African families, we are not transparent enough. It's always like the mom has money and she will hide her money in her pocket. And the father has money, and because he's the government, that is the money for the family. So once the kids needs money, they will go to the father. They'll get the money for expenses. And they will hide the money, and they will go to the mother again, and they will ask for another money. And the mother will give them the money, and they will say that, do not tell your father who is the government. So you see, we are building this behavior from the beginning. Even though we are building institutions to fight the power mongers and other people corruption, we are forgetting where we should cut the throats of corruption. So for that reason, since we are all young leaders in here, but we are also going to become heads of families, you can start influencing. I'll give an example, for instance, where I grow up, like in my family, I've always known like how much we have, how much are the funds. I've always known that this is how much I'll have for education, this is how much I'll have for traveling and this. But other people will tell me that as privilege. No, it was just like, we used to have transparency. So in that way, I wasn't able to go to my mom and ask for money and like I can hide it. No, I just know like, this is my money and this is how I'll balance it and this is how I'll contribute to the society. And also, in addition to the qualities like of a good leader, I believe that a good leader should also be sincere to himself first. And after being sincere to himself, he should also be sincere to his country. And for that way, he will be able to be sincere to the people and serve the people. And that's all. Asante.
Sudan. I have two comments. The first one I will never go around. I will never get it. Especially one of my friends here talk about the United States of Africa, right? It's so difficult not to be like united. And in the paper questions, could Sudan be united? This question have been answered asked by you. Okay?
The question is?
That you asked this question.
Yes.
Could Sudan be united?
I see the point.
Yeah. As I come from Sudan, imagine that one country has 8 armies. 8 armies. In Sudan, one country, you have 8 armies. So
8 armies.
Yes, 8 armies. All right. Every army has their own agenda. Imagine that, okay? And one, we have like in Khartoum, the capital city of Sudan. Now we have like 3 armies. So everybody knows the leader of this country. So this means a corruption. So every armies has their own resource of getting money. Don't forget that Sudan.
Constitutional reform. You talked about leadership, about the weak. When the leadership is weak, everything is under attack. And you talked about ethical codes of conduct, that everyone is aware of ethical codes of conduct. And for instance, the Constitution of Tanzania, from my side, I can see that some things have to be reformed so as to make leaders ethical. For instance, our constitution gives more power to the president. And also, the constitution itself says that the president, first of all, the parliament can can give a vote of no confidence to the president when they see the president is not performing well. But at the same time, the president has power to resolve the government. Therefore, it's already confusion. When the president noticed that the parliament wants to vote or to give a vote of no confidence, the president can easily resolve the government, I mean the parliament. Therefore, because of that issue, things remain silent. So the power that is given to the highest organ is the problem that people here cannot speak. People here cannot, even if they see that there is corruption, but if they speak, they're out of power. If the law gives more power to the president. So I don't know about the issue of constitutions in other countries, but also constitutional reforms should be regarded.
Tukitaka kuzungumzia swala la ufisadi, rushwa na mambo yote yanayovunja sheria. Sisi sasa tunazungumzia Afrika sheria. Yes. Sasa sisi tunazungumzia Afrika tunalolitaka. Yes. Sawa? Afrika tunalolitaka sisi tunaweza kufika pamoja na kuanza kwa binafsi yetu. Yaani tukiendelea kusema sisi tunapaswa kufanya hivyo na hivyo na hivyo ni kama hatua tu. Lakini bila ya kuanza kusonga mbele na kuchukua hatua, sisi hatuwezi. Na hata pia jambo hilo sisi tunaweza kuchukua pamoja na vijana. Yaani sisi ni vijana sasa, sawa? Sisi tunaweza kufanya kitu chochote isipokuwa wewe unapaswa kujua lengo lako. Lengo lako kwanza, wewe unapaswa kujua wewe unataka nini. Baada ya kujua unataka nini, wewe unaweza kufanya na kuanza na kufanya hata pia kama na ratiba. Ratiba wewe unaweza kuandika, mimi nataka hii na hii na hii. Pia hapa hakuna mtu mmoja anayezungumzia kamwe kuhusu Misri. Misri pale sisi tuna ufisadi. Jamani, tuna ufisadi, tuna ndio jamani. Tuna ufisadi, tuna kila kitu. Tuna uzuri na ubaya. Sawa sawa. Kuna pros and cons kila nchi kama hivyo. Kwa sababu gani? Kwa sababu ufisadi unaanza na wewe mwenyewe, sio nchi. Ufisadi ni mtu binafsi, sio nchi. Kwa hivyo, tukitaka kuondoa kabisa ufisadi au mambo yote yanayovunja sheria, sisi tunapaswa kuanza sisi wenyewe. Pale sisi tuna mheshimiwa Rais Abdel Fattah Sisi, rais wa Jamhuri ya Kiarabu ya Misri. Yeye anajaribu. Mimi nakubali naye kwa mambo mengi sana na hata pia nakataa kwa mambo mengi mengine, lakini yeye anajaribu. Kwa hivyo sisi tunaweza kuangalia uzuri na kusonga mbele pamoja na uzuri wetu, na hata pia tunaweza kuangalia ubaya bila kama kusema huu ni ubaya. Huo unasema hata pia huu ni ubaya, lakini tutafanya nini ili kuondoa ubaya huu? Tutafanya nini? Tutakaa kama hivyo, tutasema huu ni ubaya, haufai, lakini baadaye tutafanya nini? Asante sana.
I'm Asmet Medical Doctor, Asmet Mwekingira from Tanzania. I'm working in the Ministry of Health as a National Coordinator for Non-Communicable Diseases. For me, I may try to compare corruption with the burden of non-communicable diseases in Africa. Okay. We had communicable diseases way back, but now NCDs are coming up with diabetes, hypertension, chronic lung diseases, with all the lifestyle which we have adapted from the West. So corruption, before even colonialism, it was not there because we had our values. But now, because of new lifestyle and adaptation of the, we have changed. That's why corruption comes in, and it's chronic. It's chronic as this diabetes and hypertension and other diseases, because it started very little from the childhood, as one of the members said. But as we grow up, it's become chronic, and it's even hard to remove it because it has already eaten some of the organs which are very important. So this is very a crucial concept or a phenomenon that we need to combat, and we have to combat it from early childhood. We have to add interventions from the primary school to universities, but in all levels, all different aspects of the community.
as young people towards achieving Agenda 2063. Now, I realize that sometimes we have this attitude that we must become presidents for us to make change in our communities. We must become ministers, we must become members of parliament. But we come from different backgrounds, and we know the challenges that our people are facing from whatever background we come from. So I would like to encourage us to start from where we are, because we are not going to wait until we are members of parliament for us to make decisions that are going to bring positive impact to our community and to achieve Agenda 2063. So if it means joining forces, go and join the army. If it means joining police, prison services, as long as you're going to influence policies within where you're working, and it starts with us. So if it means starting an organization, if it means working where you are, in that institution where you are, and doing the right thing, as long as it's a positive change towards achieving Agenda 20, like people are saying 2063 is far. By 2063, I think we'll be like around in 60s, late 60s or 70s probably, but I think we shall still be around. to see the change that we want now. If the Mwalimu Nyerere and the founding fathers took years to see the Africa they wanted to realize the liberation struggle, why don't we start now? Why do we have to say that it is far? It's not far. We will still be here. We will be enjoying retirement. We will be with our grandchildren. So it will be good if by 2063 we've been able to achieve this agenda that other Pan-Africanists have started. Thank you.
So I'm Sengele. I'm from Djibouti, a very small country from Horn of Africa, and with a small population of 1,100,000. So, can you guess if there is any corruption there or not? Yeah, sure. We have corruption also, as we are part of this beautiful continent called Africa. So we have, we are the GDP, highest GDP. We have the highest GDP in Africa with $40,049 per capita after Seychelles and Mauritius. So and we have also a vote, as you know. With all of those specifications, state the rank of unemployment is very also low.
The point, please.
So my point is, I'm gonna emphasize the last question, which says that the society and especially the youth condone corruption. So as a youth, youth has always been the spine of many revolutions in the history. So they are the only ones who can represent the notion of fighting against corruption.